And joining us now with more details on these wildfires is Stacy Blomquist with Kisatchie National Forest. Stacy, thank you for joining us today. I know y'all have been very busy.
Yes, it's been a very busy time. Well, it's really started picking up since last weekend. I mean, it hasn't really been a full week that for us to be involved with the Forest Service.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah, these fires that are going across the state of Louisiana, we are just in unprecedented times with this burn ban. I mean, we're just so hot, as everybody's seen and watched on the weather, and there's really no end in sight. So we are in a very high state of readiness and trying to encourage everybody else to be ready, because this is something that we don't normally deal with. And with the hurricane, we get a little bit of advance notice. With the wildfire, you may have 30 minutes before our sheriff's coming knocking on your door and saying, you need to evacuate. Because we're surrounded by trees. We live in a rural area, which is what we love, right? We love our trees, and the forest is right here. And but we are so dry that everything is just like a matchbox out there, and just one flame will do what's happening over like at the Tiger Island fire. And so we are asking people, we have put out a stage 2 fire restriction across the forest.
Okay. Meaning
not just the burn ban, but no open flames, no campfires, no barbecue grills, I mean charcoal in our recreation areas. And we know hunting season is about to open. So we have deer season and dove season and squirrel season, and everybody wants to go to their campgrounds, I mean their campsites too, and have their campfires. But right now is not a good time to have any kind of open flame. We even put on the U.S. Forest Service, on the Kisatchie National Forest, not to smoke in an open area. You smoke inside your car, because just a discarded cigarette butt could be all it needs to set aflame the forest. And then, as we're seeing, the consequences are pretty bad. You know, people are losing homes, and we definitely don't want people to lose any lives.
It just happens so quickly for it to spread, and
the wind
be near impossible to contain.
The conditions are right, and normally in the South we're wet. We have high relative humidity. We can bulldoze the line around the fire, contain it, we're done. I mean, we have wildfires all the time, we really do, in this state. And we just heard this morning from the Louisiana Department of Agriculture and Forestry, the state forester said that from January to July of just this year, they had 394 wildfires, about 3,000 acres.
Wow.
But you don't hear about them because we can put them out pretty quick.
Right.
They
Is
might
that
be
typical?
just a few acres. Yeah, but things happen. People going down the road and throw out a cigarette, or a chain being drug accident. You know, they don't know it. It's unintentional, many of these, and things happen. But in the month of August alone, 522 fires. So that's more than, you know, the 394, 52,000 acres. And it's growing every time, I mean, every day with these. And on the National Forest, we have a lot of smoke checks, and every day I get these announcements like smoke check, go check, and luckily some of them are false alarms, but others are little spots that are happening. So all it takes is just one to really get caught by the winds, and then next thing you know, someone's knocking on your door because you may live near the forest or along a highway where the fire started. So I wanted to talk to people today about this program called Ready, Set, Go.
Okay.
I just learned about it myself. You know, we do our hurricane things. We have a couple of days to prepare and to get out, and we have our hurricane supply kits. Well, you need a wildfire kit, even though we think of, you know, we're not out west. That's the out west people out in the western states, they do this all the time. So we're borrowing their materials. So if you do go to this website that we're sharing and you see the information on there, it might be Utah or California, but we're borrowing their stuff because they have it.
Right.
But they have thought about this. So have a readiness prepared plan, have an emergency plan. Where are you going to go? You know, so they tell you to leave. I mean, what are you going to take? How are you going to get there? What route are you going to take? And have several alternate routes. I mean, are you going to go to a friend's house? You can go to a hotel. Do you have horses? Do you have large animals that need to, what do you do? Let them go?
Right.
You know,
what do you do?
You don't want them to burn up, right? Or I have chickens. I'm going to have to go grab my chickens. So I need to get boxes and cages and just have them ready. What are you going to take that you know you don't want to lose? Because almost pretty much everything's going to go up in flames, right? If your house is taken. So what important documents do you want? Your computer, your hard drive, thumb drives, videos, maybe you have of your children.
Yes,
I mean, people
picture
like me
albums.
with yes, things that you know will not last enough through a fire. So all those things, you know, you need to know, because if you're given 30 minutes, you're going to be in a panic state, you're going to be in shock, and you're not going to grab what you really want to take. They even recommend that you load your car now.
Really?
I mean, just put in your trunk the things that you want, those picture albums, put them in a bag, you know, because in case for rain or whatever, but if you're unloading or something, I don't know, just to keep things safe.
Yeah.
And then take it out later after all this danger is past us.
Right.
And it may be a while. I mean, Barrett hasn't given us, you know, much hope that anytime soon we'll be getting rain. But even after we rain, we are in a great deficit, you know, in this drought. So it's going to take a while to get back up and have the ground get the moisture in. And the trees, you see them turning brown right now. They're in stress big time. And hopefully they're not dead. They're just dropping their leaves because they're trying to conserve their energy.
Yes.
And so all those leaves on the ground, that's more fuel to be burning, you know. But luckily we've been prescribed burning a lot on the Kisatchie National Forest, trying to get rid of all that Hurricane Laura down timber that fell down. So some of that, so hopefully there's not so much fuels for fires to take, for wildfires to be burning, but there's still, the trees that are standing are very dry. And so around your home, you want to make sure you don't have anything close to it that would help carry the fire there. They call that defensible space.
Okay.
So spread the, you know, things away from your house. I mean, take out branches that might be leaning up against your roof, because you want to protect your roof and the windows. And the website is really great to help you with that.
And there's a great graphic on the screen right now too.
Right, have 30-foot buffer, the one zone, and then the next one's another 70 feet. You know, if the trees touch, you know, we have these things called ladder fuels, things that almost act like a ladder, like vines going up a tree. If the vines catch, then it'll go up, and then if it gets in the crowns, and then the wind blows, and it goes from one treetop to another treetop, and then the embers can blow and get carried far away. So just we just feel like, oh, that's happening out west, or that's not here. But look at poor people in Maryville. It's here.
It's here.
And Bentley, I have a very close friend and coworker who had to evacuate from Bentley. So, and people in Leesville are having to evacuate because of just the threat of the fire might blow that way. They have to try to protect and get people out, but they're not giving much advance notice. So be ready. Know what you have to turn off, like your power main lines, your water lines, not your water lines, I'm sorry, but gas lines, things like that. You know, you want to keep your water on. But if you have to leave your home, what you want to take, what you need to turn off, close the doors, close the windows. It's not like a tornado kind of thing. It's almost opposite of what we've learned down here in the South. But that, again, that website has some really great information, and just be ready to go and go early and get out and know where you're going to go and what you want to take, and emergency supplies, water, medications, things like that.
Absolutely. And as far as looking into the future for Kisatchie National Forest and recovery from the wildfires, what do you think that will look like?
Well, they bring in a team called a BEAR team. It's like burn assessment. I don't know what the ER stands for, but the response, environmental response team. They'll come in and they'll look, and they'll see how deep the char went into the soils, and if the soil's going to be able to recover. But we live in usually a very wet area, and it doesn't take long for Mother Nature to reclaim itself down here. You leave a pasture alone for a while, you'll have sweet gums and little trees growing up and things popping up. So I don't think we'll have any problem about regeneration and things like that. But as long as for our forest, we just want to try to let's prevent anything. So we're asking people to please observe this restriction we have now on the forest. No open flames, no smoking, no using anything that would spark, like a chainsaw or even a motor vehicle, like one of your ATVs off the trail. Don't go off the trail, stay on the trail. Make sure you have a spark arrestor on there, an approved spark arrestor, and we just want to limit any chance of starting a fire.
Absolutely. Well, Stacy, we appreciate you coming on the show and telling us all of these really great tips that we need to know, and for the update. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Thank you.
And we'll be right back with more Good Day Law right after this break.